bagus, ini bagus. Sarawak.
Sarawak, 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 Sarawak. Chegou Bocao com a capoeira, trouxe birimbau e também o atabaque. Em Sarawak matem os chineses, tribos nativos também malá. Sarawak, 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 Sarawak. Em cidade de Kuching se come laxa, também colomia e se bebe carapa. Sarawak, 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 Sarawak.
A movie I think everyone is familiar with called Only the Strong. It was played or aired in our national TV back in the days on a Saturday night, and it's all about action movies. Then I didn't even know what capoeira is, and until then you have the songs, the music, and some of the acrobatics that is shown in the movie. After that movie, the next day I went to the shop to buy the cassette, and I just can't stop listening to it in the car, in the room. So it kept on like looping my head. So after 1 year plus, or somehow that cassette sort of like missing. I don't know where the cassette is, and after a few years, I'm not sure about any one of you, but for me, when I was walking in my school or walking somewhere alone, suddenly the music or the song just played in my head and I just hummed the song out. 2005 is when I first encountered capoeira in Kuala Lumpur. I was studying and I was working in a hotel kitchen, and I was doing a catering for a automobile launch. As I'm working, but I hear something like, back then I don't know what the instrument is called, but something like the birimbau, like dong dong dong. I walked past and I saw a group of people in the room, like they are stretching, they are warming up for the performance. Guys are like white pants and topless and with that bow look like kind of a thing, and dong 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 dong, like, oh. I think about 2 months later, when I went back to my college, we were doing this orientation night dinner to welcome new students. Then one of the gym owner next to my college actually brought the same group of people right in front of our doorstep, and I was like, you guys? Then he's like, yeah, they're here to do performance for tonight. I was like, whoa. And after the whole thing, that was my first time seeing the real thing in front of me. After the performance, they said, okay, we're gonna start a class here. Who's joining? Without me thinking, me. That's how my journey starts. So I started training capoeira in 2005. In that small class, it's only 2-3 people, and sometimes only me alone. The instructor said that we're going to shut down the class because it doesn't make sense for only one person, 2 person. I told the instructor, please don't cancel class, let me try to do something. So I went to the office of my college and I talked to one of the lecturer. I said, can I do something like maybe create a club? Okay. Without me thinking much, the club has set up. So we kept going in this way for about 3, 4, 5 months, 6 months. Then I got more opportunity to go to the academy for training. I'm originally from Kuching, Sarawak, another side of Malaysia. For those who don't know, this is an island known as Borneo, which consists of 3 countries. You have Brunei, you have Malaysia, and you have Indonesia. What I started capoeira with is actually Grupo Bantus Capoeira Malaysia. They were one of the few pioneer in Malaysia, and under the leadership of Professor Rafael. I was in KL until 2011. Mid-2012 is when I actually decided to move back to Kuching, and I did not know where to start or how to start. Upon my first 3 days of arrival back home, meeting up all my friends, everyone is asking me about what are you going to do with capoeira, but everything all capoeira for the first 3 days. And then on the fourth day, a friend of mine say, hey, one of our friend's sister is opening up a studio, why not you check out with her? My first capoeira class was about 10 to 12 people. A few of my tattoo artist friends, some of my schoolmates, one or two of my friends. So add up about 10 to 12 people. So one day this opportunity came by to work with youth from charity organization. In a way, we build character, we build leadership, we build comradeship and everything, this kind of work. And I've spoken to Major Mary, Major Francis. They were the person in charge for Salvation Army Boys Home. Of course, they have one question for me. What would happen if this program finished? My natural response is that don't worry about that. I'm here. I will make sure the program will continues. We started a program in 2014. We were talking about all kinds of age, from 4 or 5 years old all the way up to like 12, 13 years old. All are boys. At first, it's not easy. You see a lot of character in each and every one of them. I personally see a kind of opportunity for them to really how can they work together in this environment. Sometimes they don't understand what's the word bully, but for them maybe I'm just playing around or having fun around. I don't really know what's going on, what's right, what's wrong. So with that, I think we also address certain kind of issue, talking to them. So using capoeira as in like, oh, okay, like you are good in this, okay, can you help this? Can you help him? Or can you help this boy? I think about after 2-3 months or 4 months later, you can see everyone trying their best to help each other. We have been doing this for about 2-3 years. We also provide them the opportunity to attend our annual batizado at Troca de Corda. With that kind of event, it allows the kids to meet all the guests from different country, from different city as well, and different ethnicity as well. So they get to talk to different professionals, even though they're capoeiristas, but some of them may be artists, maybe a computer engineer, some can be doctors, some can be, they're all in different professionals, right? So with this kind of setup or environment, it really provides a good learning environment for them to know what they want in life or what they want in future. The kids are basically not orphans. Some of the families might be, example, like single parent family, or maybe both parents are really like busy in terms of like working to get paid to sustain the family, or maybe they are staying in quite a rural area that they have not much of access to schools. So the Salvation Army Boys Home is located in the city center, and they do have transportation that will shuttle the kids to school. And basically the kids live in this particular home. Monday to Friday study time, they will all be in school. Weekends, sometimes they can go home, but during school holidays, the kids are definitely able to go back to the families. Some of the families are quite living in some rural area. So when they finish high school, if they are not continuing their studies in college, then the kids or the boys need to leave the home to get a job.
Me and Nikola, we travel a lot, no? And escaping the winter always. One year we went to Malaysia, and Nikola was like, we need to go to Borneo, we need to go to Borneo. I don't know too much about Borneo. I said, okay, we go to Borneo. And then we find the Facebook group Capoeira Sarawak, and we write, and this guy just like, yeah, send me the plane ticket, and we're like, wow. Usually it's like, okay, come for training, we take you for one burger, thank you very much, bye bye. Which is nice anyway, you always connect, but like the first contact and how you really waited for us in the airport and took us to food, which was super important, was the first little heart, the first little bond, no? There was like somebody who don't even know you, but the way you treated us just because we were part of your really big capoeira family, though you don't know, really made an impact.
That moment is like coincidence of a few things. Number one is that the local Silat community, that they want to do a kind of a martial art exchange kind of event. You guys just asked me about, hey, since we're in Malaysia, where can we learn Silat? I was like, I can introduce you to the community. And then I said, actually, they sent an invitation to me to do a capoeira performance, a demo for them. So 4 of us, including one of the senior students down here, Gato, all 4 of us went and do a performance, a workshop or a demo for the community of Silat. And from there onwards, the both of you also get to know the Silat community much better, and you actually attended their classes, their sessions, and met their grandmasters and the teachers. So everything just connects, you know. I know from a 2-night stay, it ended up become a 10 days stay, and also that time both of you also introduced fluid balance, creative acrobatics to our local community, which our capoeira student also participated. That's when we had a lot more conversation, and I think that's when chemistry has built throughout that short period. And I think at the end of the day, we are here to look into how can we provide more variety to the local community in Kuching. And then we start to have conversation, you know, like playing around the idea of not just capoeira, but playing around with the idea of the fluid balance, creative acrobatics workshops, you know. How can we blend this in together? And then even when you guys went back to Croatia and Slovenia, and we still continue the conversation online, and we was like, okay, let's come up with a program called Flow Borneo. We built the kind of topics or themes based on who will be the participants. Is this for a dancer group? Is this for fitness or sport athlete group? Or is it just for martial art group? So we put all this together, and we went through a lot of trial and error. But through this journey, we met so many different community in Kuching. The capoeira community here that we benefit a lot. Basically, both of you are here for 3 months because getting away from winter. And within the 3 months, you know, for me, capoeira practitioner and a young teacher in capoeira, of course, it would be a good opportunity for me to learn capoeira from the both of you. 2019 was invited by Professora Katjuša and Professor Cavallo. Back then, Professor Cavallo, now Contramestre Cavallo, to the event in Slovenia. And that was my first time meeting Mestre Bontape. It's very different meeting him. So many conversations that I had with him that really confuse me. Like I have questions for him, but then he give me 2-3 more extra questions. For me, it's always good to meet different teachers and to really have that dialogue session with them, because through dialogues I personally learn a lot from everyone's journey, everyone's story. And I think capoeira, it's also in such a way as well, because a lot of time capoeira is passed on through songs or passed on through like conversation. That trip in Europe was really an eye-opener for me. Capoeira is very different in everywhere around the world. So how can I bring that experience back to my student, The concept of gathering of tribes. To me, it's really something that I want to do. Not say what I want to do. I've been doing it actually from the very day when I'm back to Kuching. Back then, I call it as capoeira retreat, whereby we bring all capoeiristas together from different city, different country, different groups. Everyone just come in and just have fun. After the event in Europe, it gave me an idea of, hey, you know what? Maybe I can bring this brand, or we can even experiment. So I was like planning everything, and we did the first gathering of tribes Borneo in Kuching in December 2019. That's where I officially worked with mestre and also with the two siblings of mine, which is Professora Katjuša and mestre Cavallo, and we just grew from there. It's really a dream come true for me, someone that is born and bred in Kuching. I am the pioneer of capoeira in Kuching, Sarawak, or in Sarawak as the pioneer group. Started in 2005, all the way until like now. It's not easy to build something as such. Very honest to tell everyone that at a point I really want to give up capoeira. Coincidentally, at that point of time, I talked to a friend who is, the summer dancers, Farah from Singapore and also Noor from Singapore. Both of them, not just them, I also had conversation with one of my mentors as well, Azeitona. So after that conversation with them, and it's just like a small push that get me through what my challenges are, and I just move on.
Malcolm is an interesting creature. He talks a lot. He's very energetic. His mind is always working. He is effusive with his energy, always enthusiastic, always looking for a fresh perspective, a fresh angle, a different way of looking at something, a different way of doing something, always trying to get through, get over, get under, get around obstacles that he faces in life, especially in capoeira. Malcolm returned to Kuching after having spent 10 years in the peninsula. He didn't live too far away from me. We were both from the same capoeira school, which is where I met him, and for some reason we formed a fast friendship. Life has a funny way of leading you, bringing people into your life. I'm not sure why life brought Malcolm into my life or why me into his life, but I think today we can see where life has taken him and how the people in his life, the people around him, has influenced him, has encouraged him, has pushed him forward, has tripped him up, have discouraged him, and how he has responded to all of those things in the way that only Malcolm can. I'm very proud to have known Malcolm, very humbled to make his association. He is one of the crazy few people that I know in my life who sees every obstacle as something to play with, something to figure out, and something to motivate him to go beyond. I'm pretty sure, well, all the times that we have spent talking about this and that, capoeira, music, life in general, it's always been impressed on me by Malcolm, not so much by what he says or what he does, but mostly by who he is. And he's the kind of person who is a change maker. He's the kind of person who's a catalyst. He's the kind of person who is self-driven. He's the kind of person who does not give up very easily despite all the challenges that he faces. And he's one of the few people in life that I know who brings tremendous energy to every situation that he encounters, even when he's so depleted. Sometimes I think he taps into his craziness. Sometimes I think he taps into life itself as the source of his energy. He's now on a journey to a formation to become something that he's always held dear to his heart. And I would like to say, Malcolm, I'm very proud of you. I'm very proud of what you've achieved. I'm very impressed by all the odds that you have overcome. You and I were both full of faults, but that's just being human. But you at least have the humility to see when you're wrong and you need to do better and you need to improve. And I'm very thankful for the friendship that we've shared. And I wish you all the energy that you will need to go out and be Malcolm and to do Malcolm and to have fun. Achei Bocao, muito energia. Salve capoeira, salve Bocao.
And last year was the year that we did the second gathering of tribes Borneo, capoeira retreat, in conjunction of celebrating the 10th years of capoeira in Sarawak, Borneo. It's really a dream come true for me. I saw so many capoeiristas from different city, different country, and from different groups. They all come together, and it happened in Kuching as how I envisioned, like not in the city center, but it's somewhere out of the city center. You're surrounded by the rainforest. My guests or our guests are able to experience our local native culture. That was really, really like amazing. And I got some old friends that came by. So really, it's really a nice environment for all the capoeiristas to come by. And it was a very emotional event for me because I think 10 years is not short. And with the amount of effort and time put in, there's no any other words for me to describe.
Few times we're talking like, we don't want to travel just for 1 month in the winter, because then you come back to the winter and like we want to travel for 3 months. No? And then talking with you, trying to come up with the things we can do here, we can organize here. And then we come up with the idea of Flow Borneo. And well, then we just like they say, jump in the water and you will swim. And we just find a way, we work with you. Actually, the initial plan of the Flow Borneo retreat didn't go through. Then we made a lot of series workshops. And all the while, doing capoeira, no? You were, let's say, open enough also to see the opportunity and to say, okay, I have these people here, I train them, but I would like you to train us. And back then we were not officially part of the same group, no? We were like becoming your cousins before we became maybe brother and sister, and that was very nice. And then things just started to happen more and more, and like you said, you came. In that time also we had the privilege to meet Versatil, contra mestre Versatil, that time, mestre Versatil now. So it was like 3 weeks, and I think you had a lot of time that time also. So it was just the four of us on the veranda, on the terrace, just singing, playing capoeira, talking a lot, and just becoming more and more family, no? So it's like four different groups. I think I was that time also, my former groups, just talking and sharing and just feeling like one family from different mothers and fathers. And so that 3 months passed by good. Meanwhile, you came to Europe, you met Mr. Pontape, and you met our big family from other countries, from other groups. You decided you would also officially like to be part of this family. I think it's a very interesting dynamics, because we come from one culture and here is another culture. This year we made the second gathering of tribes, which was super cool because we had Mestre Pontape, it was the three of you, and we had our brother Mestre Versatil, and we had other guests, but we really had this family, all of us, no? And even our friends and students from Slovenia and Serbia came. So it was also that part of the group, and then the extended Southeast Asian group of people who was here. So one thing that I cherish a lot from Bocao, from my brother, and our producer and the idea manager, is his passion. It's very beautiful to see when he starts doing something, or when we together start doing something, then he's just like this exploding little passion bomb, like and this, and we can do this, and we connect to this. Sometimes it's even for us like, whoa, okay, stop, like just, okay, slowly, so we can understand, no? But I think this is really beautiful. And I think we could all see this in the Libiki retreat, because he really managed to pull all of the connections and all of the ideas he have, and all of the ideas we have together, and he really managed to create this beautiful environment where people can really just gather, stay together, learn from each other, and share this passion, because I think this is something that drowns us all to capoeira. Of course, somebody likes more the acrobatics, somebody likes more the music, somebody likes more the social part, but there is this passion, there is this undescribable energy that capoeira puts out of you, or initiates in you, that connects us all, no? I think with his ups and downs and with the struggles, I'm very happy this year we come back and I see a strong group of passionate people that are always busy, because in Sarawak, Kuching, everyone is busy, but still they find time, so some more, some less, which it's life, it's like that anywhere in the world, but I can see this beautiful energy among everybody wanting to help each other and wanting to also to help Bocao, and Bocao slowly understanding that he doesn't have to do things alone, that we are people around who are willing to help. And it's not that, it's just, I think it's the mentality and maybe how he used to doing things, that he wants to show to be a good host, but it doesn't mean he's a bad host if he led especially the family members to help him, to give him more energy, to go pick up people, to make the thing even richer, no? I'm super happy to continue my time here after the event with all of the students, with all of the people who are becoming more and more my friends. And just being here in the terrace, playing the instruments, or going for hike and singing on the road, trying to get the lyrics, and having rodas and having frustrations, and sitting down after each class or roda and just slowly everyone opening up what are their problems, what are the beautiful things, and how we can all contribute that this thing grows. So Bocao, that is the leader, doesn't feel alone, and that each one is aware of their own talent that can contribute to the group, and that we also feel that the things we share stay here and continue growing. Congratulations! 10 years Capoeira Sarawak!
Capoeira really works in a mythical way, and personally it's so different that after about 2 years I always kept in touch with back then contra mestre Versatil, now mestre Versatil. Kept in contact with him since 2007. That was the time that I first met him in Kuala Lumpur, and we stayed in touch, had a lot of conversation until the day I decided to move back to Kuching, and I mentioned to him as well, and he also wished me all the best. Always want to know more about my progression of my work here in Kuching, Sarawak. Always provide guidance, or when I have any questions, I will check with him, ask him, and that we have a lot of dialogue going on as well. So all the way until like 2014, he mentioned to me that he'll be in Malaysia for an event, and I was like, whoa! I understand he's got a very packed schedule, but he said, look, you know what, I really want to be there, so even though it's a day, for 1 day, I'll be there. So that's how I get him over to Kuching, and before that I asked him for the school logo and everything, so I can make a poster, make a kind of like an announcement like so and so will be in Kuching for a workshop. When he shared to me the logo, it actually mentioned as Capoeira Batuki, Mestre Aman Santo. I was shocked. Texted him. That's how he got to know that actually how I started Capoeira, my journey. And for me, it's like, wow. Never thought of it that once we watch a movie, and then how much closer we can get with someone, and imagine that I never thought I would get to know the person that, the guest actor in the movie, like Mestre Aman, right? I mean, I never know I'm able to, meet him in one day, and now it's getting so close that I can actually meet him in the near future, but I'm already working with, one of his senior students.
When I first met Bocao, I didn't actually know how strong his capoeira is, how long he's been doing it, and then when he started showing us how he opened it actually in Sarawak, Kuching, he was at that time, and I think it stayed until this day that his group is only active group in Malaysian part of Borneo. When we saw what kind of work he does with the Salvation Army boys, his own group, and that he is also trying to push some groups in Miri, he would also like to do something in Sabah. And I know it's super hard because for most of his time he was alone in this. In Borneo you can get pretty isolated in a sense. If you want to go to some other capoeira event, you have to fly out. If you want to bring somebody, you have to fly the person in. And of course it's economical game also, no? because people will come to you, but then they have to consider the plane ticket, they have to consider the sleeping, they have to consider the food here, they have to consider the price of the event, and what estagiario Bocao works best is the organization. No? So I was amazed how many times he did it like, oh, no problem, just come to the event, I will fly you in. No place to sleep, don't worry, I will arrange things. So he really takes care of people that come here in Kuching. And the last year, on this event, Gathering of Tribes Borneo, he did amazing thing. He took us all to Libiki Bamboo Resort, which is in the heart of the jungle. So we all slept in longhouses, like the people did here on this island long time ago. Some tribes still do it like this. And all the organization he made, the food was excellent. The people that came, I saw that Bocao is actually the heart of Asia in a sense of persons in capoeira and the connectivity he has around. No? So he has friends around in Singapore, in Vietnam, in Japan, in Thailand. He made it. He actually made it here in Borneo, and this event was pure success. And of course, sometimes it's really hard to manage all the energies. Yeah, manage the people, manage that everybody is friendly to each other, that everything functions well, and he did it. He actually did it. No? And I think that we are already in the talks what will happen this year. No? So first we will have this gathering of tribes in Slovenia, Chernomel, where other people will also come, and finally estagiario Bocao students from Asia will come also for the first time to our event, and then this will happen in the beginning of July, and then after that we are getting ready for the gathering of tribes here in Borneo. Yeah, so the event here in Borneo will take place from 1st to the 10th of December, so be there.
My name is Terence, and my nickname is Tempeiro. Currently training with Versatil out in Santa Cruz, Singapore, and I do teach classes. I think the earliest memory I have of capoeira is from a music video by Sepultura called Roots, Bloody Roots. So being a metal fan, naturally the video caught my attention, seeing two people play in there. And the next time I saw capoeira again was in '96, during the arts festival. There was a roving act that went around. It was after I finished army. That's where I found the first group of capoeira in Singapore, and that was in the year 2000. So it was a nice start to the new millennium, and it was like an interest group started by this expat. His name was Dean. You got a group of people going, before you know it, it grew to a pretty large group. It's pretty messy, but it was a lot of fun. And then we had this master who was passing through, a mestre from Brazil. And I think it was eventual that we got absorbed by him into his school, and that became the first official capoeira school in Singapore. I stayed with that school for about 4 years. Later we brought in another Brazilian teacher, and we ran that school with him for 7 years. You could say that was my second life. And fast forward to today, I find myself in Versatil, Santa Cruz. So how I met Bocao, it's pretty simple. We both came from the same school. So he was from the branch in KL, Malaysia, and I'm from the one in Singapore. So we met a couple of times here and there, and then it was a matter of time before we both left this school. Fast forward to 2022, a mutual friend texted me and said, "Hey, remember this guy, Malcolm Bocao?" I said, "Yeah, I do. He wants to get in touch with you." I said, "Yeah, it's been a while, so yeah, it'd be good to hear from an old friend." We weren't that close. I mean, we just basically knew they were from the same school, but we weren't super close, just by default. Yeah, he gave me a text, hit me up, and we got on the phone. and then we had a long conversation. I mean, we're talking like over 10 years of catching up. So much stuff has happened to both of us in capoeira, so that's quite a bit of a bond. We caught up over about an hour on the phone, and before you know it, say, hey buddy, how about you want to come over to Sarawak? I say, yeah. When, you know, and that was back in December 2022, and I met up with him. It was really great meeting a brother in capoeira. There's not many peers I keep in touch with anymore. The gathering of tribes in Sarawak was a neutral place for capoeira schools from different groups and different countries to meet together at a neutral level. It was also a good chance for me to catch up, you know, and bond together with Bocao again and meet new people. So I met other mestres. I met Contramestre Cavallo and Professora Katjuša, Mestre Braulio, Mestre Contape, and a lot of other new folks. It was kind of great when you meet new people, you know, like fresh new relationships that you can establish with no history. And we were all put together in this one place, nice rustic little retreat in the rainforest. And like Bocao said, you guys, for the next 2 nights, you're gonna do nothing but eat, sleep, breathe capoeira. It was great because the capoeira scene in Singapore is kind of segregated for strong reasons that I won't elaborate. There's a similar one that's held every year during summer in Europe. So you could say this is the Asian version of it. The Gathering of Tribes is a good place for everybody. Safe, because, you know, everyone basically agreed to come together and just learn from one another and about one another and just have a good time.
You know, I've been going to Malaysia off and on really since the early 2000s. I've been in communication with capoeiristas there, you know, ever since Quebec brought capoeira to Malaysia. And at that time it was in the form of Grupo Capoeira Angola Palmares, which became Grupo Bantus, which then became Rafael's group there, now Movimento Simples de Capoeira. And I met Bocao while he was training in Kuala Lumpur. Later on, he moved to Kuching, you know, to be back with his family and for a work opportunity, and he brought capoeira to Kuching. In fact, I think he's the first capoeira teacher in Borneo, period. And he really did a lot to try to balance, you know, his work and home life with his capoeira life, but he really put a lot into it and really would bring folks from his entire community out to Kuching in order to show people the community of capoeira and have people experience what capoeira is like at the higher, more advanced levels. So a couple of times he invited myself and some folks out for a couple of events out there, and one, he's an amazing host, but two, he knows how to gather talent and how to do the logistics of an event. You know, anybody who's a capoeirista out there and trains capoeira can really look at him to see how to really run large-scale events. It's really amazing, and just a really genuine person. And now that he is running a group, Avor da Vida, in Kuching, it's really great to see him kind of on his own 2 feet under the guidance of Nikola and Katjuša and that family, and just growing, really making capoeira his own, and seeing the folks that he gathers around him. You know, the work that he's done in the Boys and Girls Club, and with the communities, making sure that also local communities are highlighted, and also other local art forms, including silat. So I'm really very happy to know this man and to work with him, as is pretty much everyone who I know who is in his circle. So Bocao, Parabéns.
I met Bocao when I was on like a little trip through the Philippines, Hong Kong, and ended up in Sarawak.
Kuching?
Yeah. But like it was through capoeira, and I had heard of like this, cool guy, and I wish I had a more amazing story to match how amazing this guy is. But yeah, through like the grapevine of mutual family folks in capoeira. Yeah.
Bom trabalho até agora.
You did good job until now.
Espero que você continue.
He hopes that you continue.
Essa aqui é o marco.
After a long time,
As nossas vidas dos negros, afros, brasileiros, americanos,
our lives of Negroes, African, Afro-American,
foi bem difícil, foi bem complicado.
were very tough and very complicated.
Muitas vezes, alguns deles pensavam que não iriam resistir.
Many times, many of them thought they will not succeed.
That we should not exist.
Talvez para uns que estavam no pelourio, de à beira da morte,
At times for those who have been at that point, at the edge of death,
talvez pensou que ali seria o fim da raça negra.
you may have thought that this was the end of the African race.
Mas eu acho que os nossos colonizadores esqueceram ou não entenderam uma coisa muito importante.
But I think that our colonizers missed or didn't understand a very important point.
Quando, seja os negros,
When you are black,
não, quando os negros,
when black people
ou os índios,
or indigenous folks
ou outra qualquer tribo ou nação
or whatever tribe or nation
estão juntos,
are together
com um só pensamento, uma só força,
in their thoughts as well as in their energy,
não existe força opressora que possa
there doesn't exist an oppressive force that can
destruir
destroy
essa unidade ou essa raça.
this unity or that race.
Então, eu peço para vocês,
So I'm asking of you,
estejam sempre juntos,
please always stay together with one another,
ajudando e suportando
helping each other, supporting each other,
os mais fracos
helping those that are weaker,
e os que ainda não têm esse entendimento.
as well as guiding those who don't have this understanding.
Sou muito grato
I'm very grateful
a Katjuša.
for Katjuša.
Desculpa, Katjuša. Não, vamos fazer na ordem, né?
Let me
eu
do
falei
this in
tanto
order.
de falar na ordem, então vamos falar ao estagiário Bocao
To estagiario Bocao
pela Katjuša,
for Katjuša,
para o contramestre Malandro,
for contramestre Cavalo,
e agora estamos aqui junto nosso irmão Versatil,
and now who is with us, our brother Versatil.
e a todos vocês
And to all of you
por encontrar e conhecer essa grande família capoeirista.
for meeting and getting to know this huge family of capoeiristas.
Eu só tenho que agradecer muito a todos vocês o apoio, a ajuda,
I have to really thank all of you for the help and support,
e espero
and I hope
que essa força interior
that this internal energy
ainda continue com vocês por muitos e muitos tempos.
continues inside of all of you for longer and longer, for much time, for a lot of time.
Meus sinceros agradecimentos a todos vocês.
My
Obrigado.
sincerest thanks to all of you. Thank you.
Uhul! Obrigada, mestre Pontapé!
Eu disse pra você que eu fazia ele chorar.
Oh, man.